From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Donald Trump's dressing down of Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office is continuing to reverberate this morning. A defense summit planned for this weekend in the UK is being refocused to show support for the Ukrainian president and his embattled nation. Initially open only to European leaders, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office says he will now be in attendance. Many of the leaders who will be present in London, including Trudeau, were in Kyiv just 5 days ago to mark the third anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says next week she will announce a third party to investigate health contracts. The United Conservative government is continuing to face questions over allegations of corruption. A lawsuit from the former CEO of Alberta Health Services alleges high-level government officials interfered to secure overpriced deals for private health contractors. The province's Auditor General is also looking into contracting and procurement at AHS and the Health Ministry. New Brunswick has reached a tentative collective agreement with a union representing more than 9,600 employees working for regional health authorities and the province's ambulance service. The deal covers patient care attendants, tradespeople, food service workers, environmental service workers, and administrative support employees. No details are being released pending ratification. The union's last contract expired in June of last year. Meantime, Canada Post and the Postal Workers Union will be headed back to negotiations today.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says the two sides will negotiate with the help of a mediator for 2 days. They first began mediated negotiations after a countrywide postal strike. The strike ended in December after the government directed the Labour Board to order the employees back to work if they couldn't reach a deal before the end of last year. The talks come as the two parties are also in the midst of hearings as part of a federal inquiry looking at the structural and business issues facing Canada Post. That inquiry is being led by William Kaplan, the mediator for negotiations. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
Overseas now, where Kurdish militants who have waged a 40-year insurgency in Turkey have declared a ceasefire. The move comes just 2 days after their imprisoned leader called for the group to disarm. The Kurdish Workers' Party, or the PKK, say the call by its leader indicated that a new historical process has begun. The conflict between Turkey and the PKK began back in 1984 and has led to thousands of deaths over the years. And finally, Pope Francis is resting after an alarming setback in his 2-week recovery from double pneumonia. The Vatican says doctors had to put him on non-invasive mechanical ventilation after a coughing fit in which he inhaled some vomit that needed to be extracted. Doctors said it would take a day or two to evaluate how and if the episode impacted Francis's overall clinical condition. His prognosis remains guarded, meaning he isn't out of danger just yet. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, starting off in the NHL, where the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the New York Rangers 3-2. Leafs netminder Anthony Stolarz made 33 saves in the contest. Elsewhere, the Avalanche topped the Wild 5-2, and the Stars easily defeated the Kings 6-2. The Toronto Raptors were on the wrong end of a 125-114 overtime decision going to the Chicago Bulls. Scotty Barnes had 24 points for the Raps, who have lost 3 straight and 9 of 11. The Toronto Blue Jays batted .500 in some split-squad exhibition action. The Jays lost 6-3 to the New York Yankees in Tampa, Florida. And then over in Dunedin, Florida, the Jays used an 8-run fourth inning to earn a 10-7 win over the Detroit Tigers. And finally, defending champion Brad Gushue opened the Montana's Brier with a 9-2 victory over Newfoundland and Labrador's Ty DeLello. Gushue opened with a deuce and, never trailed in the 8-end win at Prospera Place. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.